Welcome to Organizers Direct How-To video series. Today we're going to learn how to install sliding doors on NX cabinets. For today's lesson we're going to need a small stepladder, a 3mm and 6mm Allen wrench, a drill with a number 2 Phillips bit, clamps, a countersink bit, a 5mm drill bit, and a rubber mallet or non-marring hammer. This is the hardware package that comes with your sliding door kit. It includes the outside door bracket, inside door bracket, panhead screws, washers, adjusting wheel, Euro screws, and door stop clips. The most important thing about installing the sliding doors is actually installing the cabinets. You must make sure that the cabinets are built square. Please check the diagonal across the top left to bottom right and top right to bottom left. The cabinets must be installed plumb, and they must also be installed level in order to make the installation of the doors easier. Okay, so first we're going to install the deck filler. Slide the filler into place using the bottom track as a guide so we don't hit the same holes. I'm going to using the 1 1/4" screws, I'm going to screw down the deck filler. And make sure that those are all flush. And that's the deck filler. Use this instruction sheet when you want to mount the outside door on the left, and use this instruction sheet when you want to mount the outside door on the right. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do when installing the tracks is we have to determine which door is going to be our left door, which door is going to be our right door. For this installation, the outside is going to be our left door, and I'm going to use the installation instructions that read outside door on the left hand side. So we're going to use the clips, install those in, make sure that you're doing the Allen key side up, and they install with this little clip going towards the inside. So I'm going to slide my top rail inside. That just slides in there, and then the other one slides in the other direction, maybe. There's one thing to note, that on these slides you'll see that there's actually a groove in the edge of the clip and a groove in the edge of the rail that they slide onto. So once I have those in place, this is my top rail. The bottom, I need this one at 5/8 of an inch. So I can just take my tape measure, slide this over to 5/8 of an inch, then using my handy dandy 3mm Allen wrench, I can tighten that down, flip it over. This one is at 3 3/4 inches. And put that lined up at 3 3/4, and then tighten it down. That was a good shot. Now I can go to the other side, slide in my 2 rails. So again, making sure that they're going in with the clip side in. This dimension on the top of this one is 1.25 inches. And then the bottom is 2 5/8. That's our top rail. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom rail. This one is 1.25 inches. And notice that this is the reverse of the other side. We're going to 2 5/8. Sliding the clip in. And when I'm lining these up, I'm lining them up with the back of the clip to those dimensions. To the reverse side, I want 5/8 here. Got lucky. And flip it over, and now this is 3/4. Once again, lining up to that back edge and tightening down that last screw. So installing the bottom rail, we're just going to go in and set it in place, make sure it's tight up against the bottom deck using a 5mm drill bit. Drill out for the Euro screws. Get rid of all the dirt. Using the Euro screws that come with the kit, we're going to just install the rail. Okay, so installing the top rail, first thing I'm going to do is slide the rail into place. I am going to lightly clamp it. In. Install the other side. Line it up. Clamp it tight. And then come back, align this other edge, clamp it tight,
kind of wants to tilt in, but it'll straighten back up as we put it on. Take my 5mm drill. I'm going to drill out each of the holes. And then I'm going to use my Euro screws and reattach or attach the top rail. So we're getting ready to install the brackets on the inside door. So the inside door, the top one goes in the third hole down for the center adjuster. And then we're going to slide the bracket in, once again kind of trying to get to that neutral position. You'll notice that on the inside door, the small wheel is on the top. That's because the inside door rides on the bottom wheel, as opposed to the outside door, which rides on the top wheel. So we'll just hand tighten the pan head screws and washers. As you're installing the doors on this, you're probably going to want to have these a little bit loose. You're going to need to probably adjust these as you're sliding them in, and you may even have to adjust the outside door as you're putting them in place. So now we'll go in and do the reverse on the opposite side, put in our adjuster in that same third hole, long edge to the outside, the wheel to the inside. And we're going to, once again, kind of get to that neutral position. Hand tighten our pan head screws with the washers. And tighten it down. So we're going to go in and install the lower bracket. You can see the large wheel. We're going to install the adjuster in the second hole. Put that in kind of in our neutral position. Pan heads with the washers, because we don't want to drill through.
Why don't you guys just make smaller screws?
Because I said so.
I'm gonna drink this coffee too.
We'll install our last bracket. Once again, wheels to the bottom, long side to the outside. We're going to install the adjuster in the second hole down. We're in neutral position. And loosely tighten everything down. So installing the outer door hardware, on the outer door we're going to use, first thing we're going to do is put in the adjuster, and it goes in this second hole. Just look according to your plans. And we're going to, when we place that in, we want to make sure that that is kind of in the center, in a neutral position in the center of this. These holes are at the center of the slot. Then I'm going to use these screws, but most importantly is I'm going to go in and use the washer behind the screw, because if you don't do this, you run the risk of running this right through the front of the door. So it's very important that you remember to go in and do these spacers. Now I'm going to come in and just lightly tighten the screws down. I don't want to ram in there because I want to be able to adjust the door once it gets in. That's probably a little too much. So once again, we're going to use the adjuster. We're going to put it in that second hole on the outside. I'm going to use the put on the bracket, and now you'll notice that by a neutral position I mean this hole in the center of that ob-round hole. I'm going to go back in using my pan head screws and my spacers, washers, get those just hand tightened, started. And then put them in, just loosely tighten down. I've switched to a drill and I have it set on the lightest tension. Okay, so we're going to install the bottom brackets. Once again, we're going to use the adjuster, put that in first. And once again, that the long side of this goes to the outside. And we're going to go back to that same neutral position we did in the upper ones. And put in my pan head screws with the washers. I'm going to lightly tighten this down. And then we're going to do the last bracket. Once again, installing the adjuster, making sure that we're in a neutral position. The pan head screws with the washer. So before we install this door, I want to show you how we are going to adjust this once we get it inside. I've got this bracket using my 6mm Allen wrench, and I'm just going to rotate the door up towards all the way to the highest position once it's inside. I'm going to bring it back to that neutral position so I can install the door. Okay, so now what we're going to do is the tricky part is installing the doors. First, we're going to install the inside door, and we're going to get it in from the bottom side first. We're going to rest it on the track so that it slides in. Now I'm going to go in, tilt the door in, and now I'm going to, as I said before, I'm going to adjust the bracket up to hold the door in place. Come around, get the other side. Now we're ready to hang the outside. So now I'm ready to go in and put the outer door on. I'm just going to lift the door up over the top of it and gently place that into the rail, slide it in, and then now I can adjust the brackets, the bottom brackets up to stop it from pulling out. Switch the doors. Voila, sliding doors. Since this is our outside left, I'm going to check the square on this again, and this seems to be that the top is canted to the right. So on this one, probably gonna lower this left door. And we're pretty good. So we're getting ready to install the handles. The handles have ribs on the inside of it, and you're going to be attaching the door in between these two grooves. The outside door is the wide handle, and it comes pre-notched, so all we have to do is just use our non-marking hammer to go in and put the door in place. So I can start with this at the top. Here's the trick. And just gently hammer that in place all the way down the door. Sliding door handle. So we're going to go in and install the inside door handle. You can just see it's the smaller door. It's going to work much the same as the other one, where I line up that top edge. Line up that top edge.